1. When developing a CLF-C02 training program for adult learners, which instructional approach best supports engagement and retention? A. Interactive labs and scenario-based cloud simulations. B. Memorization of AWS terminology lists. C. Instructor monologues without learner interaction. D. Self-paced reading without assessment. 2. In evaluating a CLF-C02 learner's understanding of cloud economics, the most valid assessment would measure their ability to A. Apply cost optimization strategies using AWS tools. Recall AWS pricing terminology only. C. Identify cloud regions without context. D. List service names from memory. 3. A curriculum developer designing AWS Cloud Practitioner content should align learning outcomes with AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam guide objectives. General IT concepts unrelated to AWS. C. Instructor preferences only. D. Broad business management topics. 4. The most effective way to mentor learners in preparing for CLF-C02 certification is to A. Use performance data to create individualized study plans. B. Provide identical materials to all learners. C. Avoid feedback until the course concludes. D. Focus exclusively on theoretical discussions. 5. When designing an evaluation for cloud computing knowledge, the most reliable format includes A. Practical exercises simulating AWS service usage. B. True or false recall quizzes. C. Open-ended self-assessments only. D. Peer evaluations without criteria. 6. Which adult learning principle is most relevant when teaching AWS shared responsibility model concepts? A. Adults learn best through relevant, real-world examples. B. Adults prefer passive observation over participation. C. Adults avoid applying previous experience. D. Adults retain best through memorization. 7. When ensuring regulatory compliance in a CLF-C02 program, educators must A. Reference AWS compliance programs such as GDPR, HIPAA, and SOC 2. B. Create their own non-standard compliance examples. C. Ignore regional data governance laws. D. Focus only on cost savings. 8. In evaluating learner progress during CLF-C2 preparation, formative assessments are used to A. Identify gaps and provide ongoing feedback. B. Grade learners for final certification. C. Replace all summative testing. D. Evaluate instructors only. 9. Which communication technique enhances understanding in cloud concepts for non-technical learners? A. Using analogies to relate AWS services to real-world business processes. B. Relying solely on technical jargon. C. Providing lengthy documentation without explanation. D. Avoiding visualization tools. 10. To improve learner motivation in AWS foundational training, instructors should A. Emphasize career relevance and real-world benefits of certification. B. Focus solely on passing the test. C. Discourage learner questions. D. Avoid relating to job roles. 11. When evaluating CLF-C02 performance outcomes, which metric best reflects learner success? A. Application of AWS principles in simulated projects. B. Attendance during lectures. C. Completion of quizzes only. Utilization of AWS acronyms. 12. A well-designed CLF-C02 curriculum should include A. Clear objectives aligned with AWS exam domains. B. Unstructured content without outcomes. C. Instructor discretion without framework. D. Randomized topics to challenge learners. 13. In mentoring CLF-C02 candidates, which feedback approach is most effective? A. Timely, constructive, and specific performance feedback. B. Delayed and generic responses. C. Feedback limited to test scores. D. Peer evaluation without instructor guidance. 14. What element ensures reliability in a CLF-C02 practice test? A. Consistent scoring and objective measurement across attempts. B. Unscored subjective reflections. C. Random difficulty levels for each learner. D. Different grading systems per instructor. 15. To support diverse learning styles in AWS foundational training, instructors should A. Incorporate visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning materials. B. Rely exclusively on lectures. Exclude visual diagrams. D. Avoid multimedia content. 16. When teaching cloud deployment models, an effective strategy for adult learners is to A. Relate models to real organizational use cases. B. List definitions without examples. C. Use repetitive terminology drills. D. Focus only on memorizing types. 17. Curriculum evaluation in a CLF-C02 program should focus on A. Learner outcomes and alignment with AWS standards. B. Instructor convenience. C. Administrative feedback alone. D. Course popularity. 18. When teaching AWS security concepts, which instructional method enhances understanding? A. Demonstrating security tools like IAM and encryption services. B. Explaining concepts abstractly without demonstration. C. Avoiding examples due to complexity. D. Reading security white papers aloud. 19. Adult learners studying for the CLF-C02 certification benefit most when A. Their prior professional experience is acknowledged and integrated. B. Instruction is entirely theoretical. C. Learning occurs through repetition alone. D. Practical connections are avoided. 20. Which assessment type best evaluates learners' ability to apply AWS billing and pricing concepts? A. Scenario-based cost management exercises. Matching terminology to definitions. C. True or false questions on pricing. D. Self-report reflections. 21. When delivering CLF-C02 training online, effective communication involves A. Active engagement through Q&A, chat, and breakout discussions. B. One-way lecture delivery. C. Ignoring learner feedback. D. Relying solely on slides. 22. In curriculum design, backward planning ensures that A. Assessments and activities align directly with learning outcomes. B. Lessons are created first, outcomes later. C. Evaluation occurs before content creation. D. Objectives remain undefined. 23. When facilitating group discussions in AWS foundational training, the instructor should A. Encourage collaboration and idea sharing among learners. B. Correct every response immediately. C. Avoid open-ended questions. D. Focus only on time constraints. 24. To ensure accessibility in CLF-C02 materials, educators must A. Follow inclusive design principles for diverse learners. B. Assume all learners have the same background. Use text-only materials. D. Exclude subtitles or alternative media. 25. Mentorship in a cloud certification program is most effective when A. Mentors guide learners to set personalized, achievable goals. B. Mentors provide all answers directly. C. Mentors evaluate learners punitively. D. Mentors focus only on certification dates. 26. The most appropriate summative assessment for a CLF-C02 course is A. Comprehensive mock exam reflecting AWS domain objectives. B. A feedback survey on course satisfaction. C. A short discussion forum post. D. Attendance tracking. 27. When addressing regulatory compliance in AWS cloud services, learners should understand A. Shared responsibility for data protection between AWS and the customer. B. AWS handles all aspects of compliance automatically. C. Only physical security requirements apply. D. Compliance is optional. 28. Adult learners in AWS courses value A. Practical relevance and problem solving over abstract theory. B. Rote memorization of AWS facts. C. Lengthy lectures without examples. D. Isolated self-study without feedback. 29. When evaluating the effectiveness of a CLF-C02 training program, instructors should analyze A. Learner outcomes, exam pass rates, and post-course application. B. Instructor workload only. C. Marketing engagement data. D. Feedback from only top-performing learners. 30. To improve knowledge transfer after CLF-C02 certification, mentors should A. Encourage learners to apply skills in workplace cloud initiatives. B. Avoid post-certification contact. C. Limit application discussions to exams. D. Dismiss reflection activities. 31. In adult learning theory, experiential learning applied to cloud training emphasizes A. Learning by doing through practical AWS exercises. B. Listening to extended lectures. C. Memorizing without engagement. D. Passive observation. 32. The role of feedback in the CLF-C02 learning process is to A. Enhance reflection and guide continuous improvement. B. Serve as a final grade only. C. Be delivered only when requested. D. Focus solely on mistakes. 33. When designing a CLF-C02 study plan, instructors should ensure A. Alignment between AWS domains, learner goals, and pacing flexibility. B. A rigid schedule, regardless of learner needs. C. Exclusive use of third-party materials. D. Random topic sequencing. 34. In preparing adult learners for the CLF-C02 certification, which instructional strategy best aligns with principles of self-directed learning? A. Providing access to AWS white papers and allowing learners to explore topics at their own pace. B. Requiring all learners to complete identical timed assessments without flexibility. C. Delivering only instructor-led lectures with minimal student interaction. D. Using repetitive drills without explaining real-world cloud use cases.